Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement. Hello there and welcome to the program Agriculture on the Move. My name is Phillip Sydney. My guest today is Mrs. Alicia Daniel-George. This is somebody I really wanted to have had on my program for years, and she's been camera shy. She is the former manager of the Union Propagation Station, and she's now acting director of agricultural services in the Department of Agriculture. Welcome to the program, Ms. George.
Thank you.
And I may tell you, Mrs. George, though she is small in stature, but if you know Mrs. George and you know her standard, you know her passion for her work, you know, those of you who have associated with her at the propagation station would know what she stands for and what she delivers. She's result-oriented, and that is why I really wanted to have had her on my program for years. But I'm happy today, the longest road has an end, and she's here. Thank you again, Mrs. George, for being here. Mrs. George, you have been in this new role, what is this, just over a year?
A little less than a year.
Less than a year.
September will be a year.
A year, okay.
Yeah.
So you've gotten your feet wet, right?
Yes, kind of.
Kind of. Okay, what does this job entail, the Director of Agricultural Services position?
Okay, the director's position, I would have to assist in policies, implementation of the policies by developing projects and programs to meet the policies. Also, I supervise several of the units under the Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Agriculture will entail engineering division, the extension division, the veterinary division, propagation. Yes.
Okay, so you have a heavy position.
A series, yes, a series of various
so
divisions.
What they do, in other words, these various units or divisions, as they're called, they prepare an annual work program, all right? And then they're supposed to, so you assist in ensuring the execution of those programs, right?
Yes.
And also financing too.
Yes, I assist them because I consider myself more as a technical person than the role would require some management, but I'm more of a, like you said, a technical person. So I would more like look at the programs and try to orient it towards the ministry's policies. And with that also comes the finances to implement those programs, and I would also assist them in doing that.
What are the challenges, you know, with the implementation of those policies and the programs of those various divisions?
Well, the main challenge always is finance. That's one of the main challenges, finance.
Yeah, but what about getting the task done, getting people to do the task?
Well, currently with the ministry, the situation the ministry is in is that we have a lot of our officers that are going on retirement and on leave. So we have a lot of new officers. So on implementing, it is a challenge. We have a lot of training to undertake, particularly in our extension divisions. We have a lot of new officers coming in that would need training. They haven't been trained properly, and they would require training to be able to execute their jobs properly.
But for example, years ago, apart from the Arthur Lewis, college training staff to get them for work in the ministry and other, positions in other institutions. There was the ECIAFs and there was the Jamaica School of Agriculture. There was Guyana. Does this still exist? I mean, do you all actually send persons to train, to prepare them for the work ahead?
The ministry don't actually. Well, it's up to the officer.
Okay.
To decide whether he wants to go in that direction or when they come into extension, they come in fresh, some of them may come in fresh from either they do A-level or they do attend the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. And they may have done the certificate program or the associate degree. And some of them still haven't decided as yet whether it's strictly extension they want to do, or they want to do some sort of research or go into the veterinary division or something like that. So it will be up to them, but we are willing, I'm certain that the ministry is willing to support them if they do decide that they want to continue into extension and go into attend the various institutions.
Okay, because one of the problem is, like you mentioned, I don't know whether it's to blame, say, the ministry or the system in terms of forward thinking. The preparation for retirement. In other words, you have persons who are retiring a lot at the same time, and there's no forward, preparation for that to fill in, those positions. I mean, what's happening? I mean, is whose fault? I mean, is it the ministry's fault? Is it, is it finance? What's the situation here?
I would say it's a bit of both. It's forward planning. The ministry didn't have much of that. But at the same time, we realize that this is the situation, and we're trying to identify certain individuals to perform certain roles and to be qualified. The ministry is also looking to try and get assistance from foreign governments for training of the various officers, whether it be in extension or in research or pathology, whatever they would require, and the ministry would require. Again, we looking to open the national lab.
Right. Yes.
And then we would need a lot of trained personnel. So we're looking to get some of the existing and some new personnel in.
But have this started yet? No? Or?
Yes, it has.
Yeah, because I know that facility should be in commissioning pretty soon, right?
Yes, it should be.
Okay. So your challenge is not staff. So you okay with your staff? Everything is okay as far as you're concerned?
No, everything is not exactly okay with staff. We definitely need more staff. Like I said, the training, it is not, the training, put it like that, it will not happen one time, but it will take some time before we get what we actually want and what the ministry actually needs. So we try.
In the engineering division, I know since after the passage of the storm, there's been a lot of work being done to get the drainage and other infrastructure. How is that going?
Well, it's going okay so far. Yes, I think they're doing a lot. Well, they have some of the equipment that could do the drainage. You have the officers quite qualified enough to design the drainage and stuff like that. And then the dry period, as you would realize, that is the period that they could do most of their work. Right.
Because one of the things I know farmers are asking for is land preparation, and they are having problems in actually getting the equipment moved from one point to the next. I don't know whether that has been solved.
Not exactly. To some extent, the farmer has to pay a small fee for the movement of equipment. The ministry is looking towards maybe in future if we could source money to purchase, I think it's called a lowboy or something like that. Yes, to move the equipment when it is needed. And that would be more effective than just depending on the farmer, whether the farmer, because right now what we have to do is to wait until a certain amount of farmers in one area, there's enough land for preparation in one area before we could move the equipment. We cannot just move the equipment just for one farmer, one person. Okay, so that would help with.
But the farmers, they know about that, because I mean, there have been some little complaints, and they've asked them to clear the land, and then the grass is back again and nothing is happening. So I don't know whether they are aware that not only one farmer at any one time gets the service.
If they contact the extension officer, they'll be aware of that, because the extension service, the officers know that they're given the details and as to when certain areas will be done, so they could have the farmers to clear the area. Also, if they contact the extension officers, they will know that they must get like a group or pool of farmers before the equipment could be moved, and they could get the land prepared.
Great.
So that they don't do it too early.
Good.
Clear the land too early.
All right. Okay, we are due for our first break. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. No, think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join revolution. Excessive agrochemical use, additives and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy and consume organic. A message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, UNDP. The good food revolution.
Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move. With me is Mrs. Alicia George, who is the Acting Director of Agricultural Service in the Department of Agriculture. Mrs. George, I know the ministry over the years have been trying to get information from the farmers. I remember it began with the individual farm data, where you collect information from the farmer to get it into a database, so that if an officer, for example, comes into the region who's new, right, he can be familiarized with the information about Farmer Jack and Farmer Brown. In addition to that, they went into what they call a farmer registration program, which I think right now the ministry is trying to get the entire island involved in this process. Could you give us an idea of what this process entails?
Okay, it is the National Farmer Registration Program, and it entails the registration of all the farmers on the island, be it crop farmers, livestock, or fisheries farmers. Okay, the registration program will entail getting all the farmers to give us some sort of data on themselves. So the farmer registration will give us the farmer's name, and that will be broken down. The farmer will tell us what class of farmers. So we have various classes of farmers. Like I said, the crop farmers. The crop farmers will also be broken down, because you could be a crop farmer and not be doing vegetables. Or so there are various classes. You have the major classes under the crop farmers. You have banana farmers, plantains, cocoa, and then other crops. And then under the livestock or farmers, you have things like the rabbits, poultry, cattle, broilers, and then you have backyard gardeners. Yes. Also, we'll take into account for backyard gardeners. And still broken down, you'll have to be telling us whether you're a part-time or full-time farmer. Okay, and the reason for the farmer registration is it will assist both the farmer and it will assist the ministry. It will assist the ministry in our planning. We need to plan, have programs and projects, and we need that data and that information to properly plan and to implement some of these programs. So we'll know what we have out there, how many cocoa farmers we have out there, or how many cattle farmers, and programs that we could put in place to assist them. And also it will help the farmers to access some of the incentives and concessions that the ministry and even the markets that the ministry could assist them in.
So after that information is collected, what is given to the farmer? Okay,
let me explain it to you first properly. The information is collected. Like I said, the farmer will have to fall into one category, one of the categories, or a mix. It could be mixed also. The farmer will have to come, they have to qualify. The farmer must be able to give us data, submit data on a cropping cycle. We need that information to be able, like I said, this is the information that will be used to plan and implement certain programs. So he'll need to agree to give us information on his crop production. He needs to come with a valid ID. He also needs to be a citizen of St. Lucia. He must be actively involved in agriculture at the time that he's coming to register. Okay, and he'll come with, like I said, his ID and $25. That is to cover the cost of the card and the printing and stuff like that. And he'll be given a ID card, a registration, yes, a form of registration for ID card. It will be a valid form of ID that he could use everywhere. Also, that ID card, he will get certain benefits. He'll benefit from it. He'll have access to the markets. The ministry is liaising with like the supermarkets and the hotels, and even in the new marketing entity, that they would require that the farmer be registered to be able to deal or to sell their produce.
So he gets a different price also for his commodities, no? A higher price than a non-registered farmer?
Put it like that. The non-registered farmer might have more difficulties. I think that's what we're trying to get, that everything goes, the farmer has to be registered to be able to sell on the market. Okay? And to get government, the concessions, yes, and the certain incentives, like we discussed, the land preparation and drainage, to get all of these, the benefit of the use of the lab for testing and stuff like that. For the sale of the planting material, he would need to have, to get a discount or whatever it is, he would need to have his farmer ID.
What about land tenure, land ownership?
He would he would need to prove that either he owns the land or he has a lease on the land or he has permission to use the land. That is part of it. Yes, yes.
In addition to that, in terms of getting him to any activity like training, is that a requirement too, or you'll train everybody?
No, that's one of the things. It's with the land, with the farmer registration, it feeds into a database. So that database the ministry will be able to utilize that database, like I said, for planning, for decision making. Well, whatever projects we're planning and whatever we decide to do, we'll have information, production information, farm information, how many farmers are doing whatever program or whatever it is. We'll be able to decide whether we need to train certain farmers that producing certain commodities. We'll be able to know the commodities, how much of the commodity and who's producing what and where with the registration. And it will give us a better, should I say, make it easier for the crop monitoring, because we'd already have the data. It will link into our crop monitoring system, the RS system, that so the information will feed it. Not only will lead into the crop monitoring, but also for the livestock database system. So generally we'll be able to generate reports on farmers. We could generate reports on production, a commodity, where it's being produced, how much of it's being produced, what regions or whatever it is, like that. Information
but like are you all giving back to the farmer information, for example, market information? When we look at, for example, our food import bill, if there is a demand for particular commodity, are you all going to be giving that information back to the farmer too, so he too can prepare for a market that is required?
Yes. Let me tell you how it would work. The registration and the information on the database will assist us with production scheduling. And that is, production scheduling is like getting the farmers involved in planning and deciding how much of what crop is produced when. So the farmer will know definitely, let's say we have 10 farmers producing, let's say, cabbage. So each farmer will know how much of each. If whether it's 1 acre he's supposed to be growing of cabbage, if it's 10 acres of cabbage that is required on the market for the month of January. So we will know whether it is 1 acre is growing or is he growing half an acre, to either not flood the market or it's deficient the market. Market deficiencies. Okay, so we'll be able to use that information, and the farmer will be privy to that information too, so that he could make an informed decision, and he know why we asking him to produce that amount and no more than that amount.
That's critical. Okay? We'll come back to that. We'll do for another break. Stay tuned.
Everyone is at risk for getting a foodborne illness. While most foodborne illness cases are mild and go unreported, long-term health complications and even death can occur from a foodborne illness. Foodborne illnesses are caused by contamination of food at any stage of preparation. If you are a food handler involved in home-based food production, meat, fish, chicken, or a big shop, as a food vendor, how you prepare food can put your customers at risk. Do you know the risks and how to avoid them? The St. Lucia Bureau of Standards can help you.
For more information, contact the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards at 456-0546 or email slbs@candw.lc or visit the website at www.slbs.org.lc. St. Lucia Bureau of Standards, making quality and standards our way of life.
Welcome back. Mr. George, one of the questions I think I asked you in the green room was how are farmers going to be aware of this program, apart from, of course, this medium here, but you still need to get them, you know, information to know exactly where to go to and what to do. What's the process?
Okay. After I leave here today, well, put it like that, the minister have agreed to the program, so therefore this is the reason I'm on your program, trying to give out the information. We will be posting posters and flyers in the various regions, and our initial step was to put the database system together so that we could collect the information. That has already been done, and within a matter of 2 weeks, say come the beginning of August, we will be commencing the registration program, and initially it will be done in each region. So our team from the marketing unit and our extension unit will be going to one region each, let's say spend at least a week or 2 weeks in the region based on the number of farmers that are there to register the farmers. Right now, what is happening is that the extension officers are trying to identify and put together the form, the application form that they need to fill out. They would need to fill out an application form, and that application form needs to be approved by the extension officer. So the application form will give information on the land tenure, as we just said before, and the category or the classes of crops or livestock or whatever it is that they produce, and other personal information like their normal ID, the NIS number and stuff like that. So they put in that together first, and then on the day of registration, so it will be easier that they come in, they bring in their photo, a small passport size photo, they $25 for registration, and they'll be issued in the region, the initial one in the regions. They'll be issued their ID cards in the region for the first round. So we're going from region 1 and 2 to 3, and we're moving across the island. Okay, 1 to 2 weeks in each region, and it will be announced. We'll be having more programs and stuff to announce where we will be, and then after that we'll be moving to normal registration. Will take place at the Ministry of Agriculture, I think the 4th floor, the marketing unit there. And the farmers will have to come also come in with their $25 and their completed application forms. Like I said, it needs the approval of the extension officer and the head of extension. And it will be valid, the ID will be valid for 2 years. And within that time, we were requesting that the farmers give, like I said, proof of or information on 2 cropping cycles. So whatever they're producing, they need to feed us in the data. Although our extension officers will be out there doing the monitoring, they need to even assist us by calling in, and if we're not able to, based on how many farmers we have, we are dealing with, give us the data. If you do not give the data, the ID will not be renewed. Okay. Now, if your ID if you lose your ID or your ID is damaged, there is a $50 charge for a reprint of the ID. Okay.
Soon after that is done, how soon can the officer get information from the farmer so that can be tabulated through the system that you mentioned?
Part of the form already contains some of the information. So part of the form will be asking you the various locations that you farm in, what is the size of the location, what crops you are producing, what is the stage of the crops, and stuff like that. So that registration form will already have some.
So the process will already started.
Yeah, it would already have started. And another thing is that the system, the database system, could flag certain things. So take for instance, you have cucumbers, you're producing cucumbers, and if cucumbers come into production, let's say within 6 weeks or something, or let it come into production in 6 weeks' time, the system will flag the farmers that are producing, and it's supposed to be like maybe a week before. It will tell the extension officers that they would need to monitor to see whether that crop actually came through. So it will be able to generate a printout that the extension officer in the region could go and monitor to see whether the farmer has carried the crop through. And it's ready for harvest and for the data.
Alicia, we mentioned earlier on the question of land preparation, and of course engineering unit is going to be involved in assisting in providing the rotovators and the plowing. But if that is not synchronized, you realize the problem you have for production.
Yes.
Because if it's going to be a situation where you need, for example, with our import bill that is so high, and we're trying to look at like those 7 crops that we have not mentioned yet, that we are trying to zero in on and to try our best to see whether we can create a dent in the importation. If you don't have those activities well synchronized, then you have a problem.
The database will assist us in having it well synchronized, because we would have an idea with the database what type of farmer, if you're a vegetable farmer, what vegetables you usually produce, and so we know if you need to till your land or you need drainage or whatever it is, it will be able to tell us. So therefore we'll be able to, like I said, it is a tool for planning. We could plan ahead and know exactly, even in the dry season, coming to the rainy season, what we need to do. Who are the farmers we need to target, and where are they?
The question of greenhouses, that will play a major role, of course.
Definitely.
Now, I am passing around, I'm noticing the number of farmers, their greenhouses are uncovered and they're just not. How are you going to help those farmers? Because they're talking about getting funds and getting, the covering is expensive. Are you going to assist the farmers in getting them back on track?
Okay, I am hoping, right now it is a program that is a reduction in the food import bill, and the ministry is targeting, like I said, 7 crops, and we're hoping that under this, most of these crops are vegetable crops, and mostly the greenhouses are used for mainly vegetable production. So we are hoping that it gets not just as a program, but goes into a project where the ministry might be able to provide some of these, should I say, supplies needed for the repair of the greenhouse as a subsidized price to the farmer, or maybe just at the cost price to the farmer. And we're hoping that the new marketing entity will undertake that role of actually being able to supply what is required for the farmers at a reasonable cost to the farmers.
Mrs. George, we've come to the end of the program. Yeah, I told you, half an hour is very short.
And we haven't even started
we haven't started yet. So I would really thank you for being here. This is final words in 1 second.
Final words?
Yes.
Okay, I'm hoping that all farmers will come out, whether you, like I said, whether you're livestock or crop, cocoa, whatever it is, farmer, that you come out, and the categories of farmers will be posted, like I said, in the regional offices, so you'll know under what category that you fall. So please, all farmers, it's for your benefit and for the benefit of the Ministry of Agriculture to come out and register.
Great. Mrs. George, thank you very much for being here. I look forward for you to come back again and to give us the results. All right? Thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
You've been watching Agriculture on the Move. Again, remember, agriculture is our business, and eat fresh. St. Lucia's best. Let the money stay here. Let us create a dent in the importation of those crops that we can produce here. Thank you again for viewing. I'm Phillip Sydney. Goodbye.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.